What do you do when the man who taught you to dream is living a nightmare? For Ronaldo, the answer was simple: rewrite his story. The Miami night was thick with humidity, the kind that clung to your skin like a second shirt. Ronaldo, fresh off a charity gala at a glittering downtown hotel, stepped out into the neon glow of the city. His tailored suit was crisp, his smile wide for the cameras, his hand waving to fans chanting his name. He was a king here. Cristiano Ronaldo, the soccer legend whose name echoed from stadiums to billboards. The gala had been a success. Thousands raised for kids' sports programs. His speech about grit and dreams met with roaring applause. He felt good, untouchable, as he slid into the back of his sleek black SUV, the leather cool against his skin. His driver, Carlos, eased the car into the flow of traffic, the city's pulse thumping through the tinted windows. Ronaldo scrolled through his phone, liking fan posts, when something outside caught his eye, a flicker of movement on a dimly lit corner. A man sat slumped against a graffiti-stained wall, his grey hair matted, his clothes tattered like forgotten laundry. Something about him tugged at Ronaldo's chest, a pull he couldn't shake. "Carlos, stop the car," he said, his voice low but firm. Carlos glanced back, brows raised. "Boss, this ain't the best spot. You sure?" Ronaldo didn't answer. He was already opening the door, stepping onto the cracked sidewalk, the humid air hitting him like a wave. Security guards scrambled behind him, muttering about safety, but Ronaldo waved them off. His polished shoes clicked against the pavement as he approached the man. The street was alive with noise, honking cars, distant sirens, the chatter of a nearby food cart. But for Ronaldo, the world narrowed to this one figure. The man's head was bowed, his hands clutching a frayed backpack. His face was hidden, but those hands, calloused, trembling, felt familiar. Ronaldo crouched down, ignoring the curious stares from passers-by. "Sir?" he said softly. The man didn't move. Ronaldo's heart raced. He leaned closer, catching a glimpse of weathered skin, a scar above one eyebrow. His breath caught. That scar. He knew that scar. "Coach Diego?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. The man's head lifted slowly, his eyes cloudy, like they'd seen too many hard days. For a moment, they locked gazes, and Ronaldo felt time collapse. Those eyes, once sharp, barking orders across a dusty field in Ronaldo's childhood, were now dull, sunken. But they were Diego's. Coach Diego, the man who'd seen a scrawny kid with big dreams and taught him how to strike a ball with precision, how to run like the wind, how to believe he could be more than his small town. Ronaldo's throat tightened. This couldn't be real. Diego, his first coach, the man who'd shaped his future, was here, homeless, forgotten on a Miami street corner. Hold up. If you're hyped for this video, smash that like button, comment, "Go," and watch till the end for a surprise you won't see coming. The memories flooded back, vivid as the day they were made. Ronaldo, 10 years old, kicking a worn-out ball on a dirt pitch, Diego yelling, "Focus, Cristiano! You've got magic in those feet!" Diego tying old socks around Ronaldo's ankles to teach him balance, laughing when he tripped but always pulling him up. Diego, who'd slip him an extra sandwich when his family couldn't afford dinner. That same man now sat shivering in a threadbare jacket, his beard streaked with grime, his hands shaking not from cold, but from years of neglect. Ronaldo's chest ached. How had it come to this? He reached out, touching Diego's shoulder. The man flinched, then looked up again, squinting. Who are you?" Diego's voice was hoarse, like it hadn't been used in days. Ronaldo's heart sank. He didn't recognize him. "It's me, Cristiano," he said, his voice cracking. "From Madeira, you taught me everything." Diego blinked, his eyes clearing for a moment. A spark flickered, then faded. "Cristiano?" he murmured, like he was testing the name. Ronaldo nodded, fighting the lump in his throat. He turned to his security team, who hovered nervously nearby. "Get me some water, food, now." One guard hesitated, but Ronaldo's glare sent him sprinting to the SUV. The crowd was growing, people pulling out phones, whispering his name, but Ronaldo didn't care. He sat on the curb next to Diego, ignoring the dirt smudging his suit. "What happened, coach?" he asked, his voice gentle but urgent. Diego's eyes dropped, ashamed. "Life," he said simply. "It just broke me. Ronaldo waited, sensing there was more. Diego's words came slowly, each one heavy. He'd lost his wife to cancer years ago. His daughter Maria had moved away, angry at his drinking after the grief took hold. Coaching jobs dried up when his health failed. No savings, no family, no safety net. He'd ended up here, invisible to the world. Ronaldo listened, his jaw tight, anger mixing with sorrow. This was the man who'd believed in him when no one else did, and the world had let him fall. A street vendor nearby, a wiry man named Jamal with a food cart full of tacos, watched the scene unfold. He'd seen Diego before, shared scraps of food when he could. "That's old man Diego," Jamal called out, wiping his hands on his apron. "Been out here a couple years. Good guy, just down on his luck." Ronaldo turned, nodding at Jamal. "You know him?" Jamal shrugged. "Enough to know he don't belong here. Talks about soccer sometimes, kids he used to coach. Never said he knew you, though." Ronaldo's mind raced. He couldn't leave Diego like this, not after everything. The guard returned with a bottle of water and a takeout bag from a nearby diner. Ronaldo handed them to Diego, who took them with trembling hands. "Eat," Ronaldo said softly. Diego hesitated, then tore into the sandwich, his hunger raw and desperate. Ronaldo watched, his heart twisting. This wasn't just about food or a warm bed for the night. This was about giving back a life. He pulled out his phone, texting his brother, Junior, who handled his business affairs. "Found Coach Diego. He's homeless. Need your help ASAP." Junior's reply was instant. "Where are you? I'm coming." Ronaldo looked back at Diego, who was sipping the water, his eyes still wary. "You're coming with me," Ronaldo said, his tone leaving no room for argument. Diego shook his head. "I don't need pity, kid." Ronaldo leaned in, his voice fierce. "This isn't pity, coach. You never gave up on me. I'm not giving up on you." The SUV pulled up to a boutique hotel in South Beach, its glass doors gleaming under the streetlights. Ronaldo helped Diego out, steadying him as they walked inside. The lobby was all marble and chandeliers, a world away from the street corner. The staff stared, but Ronaldo's presence silenced any questions. He booked a suite, no questions asked, and led Diego to the elevator. Diego clutched his backpack like it was all he had left. In the suite, Ronaldo watched as Diego took in the plush bed, the clean towels, the view of the ocean. "This is too much," Diego mumbled, his voice thick with shame. Ronaldo shook his head. "It's not enough." He called room service, ordering a hot meal, then turned to Diego. "Take a shower. Rest. We'll figure this out." Diego's eyes filled with tears, but he nodded, shuffling toward the bathroom. Ronaldo sank into a chair, his mind spinning. This wasn't just about one night. He needed a plan, a real one. Junior arrived 20 minutes later, his face grim as Ronaldo recounted the story. "He's family," Ronaldo said, his voice low. "We don't leave family behind." Junior nodded, pulling out his laptop. "Hotel's a start. What's next?" Ronaldo's eyes hardened with resolve. "Everything. We give him his life back." As Diego showered, Ronaldo stood by the window, staring at the Miami skyline. His life was a dream. Mansions, trophies, millions of fans. But seeing Diego like this was a wake-up call. Success hadn't just lifted him up. It had left others behind. He thought of Maria, Diego's daughter. Where was she now? Could they find her? He turned to Junior. "We need to track down his daughter. Maria. She's out there somewhere." Junior nodded, already typing. "I'll get a PI on it. Anything else?" Ronaldo paused, his mind drifting back to that dirt field, Diego's voice echoing in his ears. "Yeah," he said. "I want to build something. A place for kids, for coaches like Diego. Somewhere they're never forgotten." Junior raised an eyebrow. "Big project, Chris." Ronaldo's jaw set. "I'm not here to play small." Outside, the city hummed, oblivious to the quiet vow taking shape in that hotel room. Ronaldo wasn't just saving a man. He was starting a movement. Diego emerged from the bathroom, his face cleaner, his eyes brighter but still haunted. He looked at Ronaldo, a flicker of recognition crossing his face. "You're still that kid," Diego said, a faint smile breaking through. Stubborn as hell. Ronaldo laughed, the sound warm, genuine. You made me that way, coach. For the first time in years, Diego felt seen, not as a shadow on the street, but as the man he used to be. And Ronaldo? He felt something shift inside him, a purpose bigger than any goal he'd ever scored. This was just the beginning. The night stretched on, and Ronaldo stayed, talking with Diego until the early hours. They swapped stories, old games, old dreams, the way Diego used to make Ronaldo run laps until his legs burned. But there was a new story forming now, one neither of them could have predicted. Jamal, the vendor, had followed them to the hotel, curious, and now stood outside, texting a friend about what he'd seen. Ronaldo's the real deal, he typed. He didn't just walk by. Word was spreading, not through headlines, but through whispers, the kind that carry truth. Ronaldo didn't know it yet, but this moment, crouching on a dirty sidewalk, choosing to stop instead of driving on, would ripple far beyond this night. Diego fell asleep on the hotel bed, his breathing steady for the first time in years. Ronaldo watched him, his mind racing with plans. A shower, a meal, a bed. These were just the start. He'd give Diego more than a moment of kindness. He'd give him a legacy. And maybe, just maybe, he'd find a way to heal the parts of himself that success had left untouched. The Miami skyline glowed outside, a city of dreams and forgotten stories. Ronaldo wasn't done with this one, not by a long shot. Ronaldo stood in the hotel suite, the Miami skyline a blur of lights beyond the window. The hum of the city felt distant, like a radio turned low. Coach Diego slept soundly in the next room, his snores soft but steady, a reminder he was alive, not just surviving. Ronaldo's phone buzzed with messages from Junior, his brother, already working on next steps. But Ronaldo's mind was elsewhere, replaying Diego's story. The cancer that took his wife, the drinking that pushed Maria away, the slow slide into the streets. It wasn't right. A man who'd shaped lives, who'd shaped him, shouldn't end up like this. Ronaldo's fists clenched. He wasn't just going to fix this for Diego, he was going to make sure it didn't happen to others like him. The suite's door clicked open, and Junior stepped in, his laptop bag slung over his shoulder. Got some leads on Maria, he said, keeping his voice low. Private investigator says she's in Orlando, working as a nurse. Rough relationship with Diego, though, might not be easy. Ronaldo nodded, his jaw tight. Find her. She needs to know he's okay. Junior raised an eyebrow. You sure you want to dig into this, Chris? Family stuff gets messy. Ronaldo's eyes didn't waver. She's his daughter. She's part of this. Junior shrugged, pulling out his laptop. All right. I'll set up a meeting. What else you thinking? Ronaldo paced, his sneakers silent on the plush carpet. Diego needs more than a hotel. Medical care, clothes, a place to live. And I want to start something bigger, a program for kids, for coaches, like a community center, name it after him. Junior's fingers paused on the keyboard. That's a big swing, man. You talking millions, permits, staff. Ronaldo stopped, his gaze sharp. I've got millions. Make it happen. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the suite's windows, painting the room gold. Diego sat at the breakfast table, picking at a plate of eggs and toast. He looked different, clean-shaven, hair trimmed by a barber Ronaldo had called in. The hotel's crisp white shirt hung loose on his frame, but his eyes were clearer, less haunted. Ronaldo sat across from him, sipping coffee, watching every move. How you feeling, coach? He asked. Diego's fork paused. Like I'm dreaming, he said, his voice rough but warm. Haven't eaten like this in, I don't know how long. Ronaldo smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. He saw the weight Diego still carried, shame, fear, the ghosts of years lost. We're getting you to a doctor today, Ronaldo said. Full checkup. Whatever you need. Diego's face tightened. I don't deserve this, Cristiano. You don't owe me. Ronaldo leaned forward, his voice firm. You put a ball at my feet and told me I could be great. I owe you everything. Diego's eyes glistened and he looked away, focusing on his plate. The silence was heavy, but it held respect, not tension. A knock at the door broke the moment. It was Jamal, the street vendor from the night before, holding a bag of fresh fruit from his cart. Figured the old man could use some vitamins, he said, grinning. Ronaldo liked him instantly, Jamal's easy smile, his quick wit. You didn't have to, Ronaldo said, taking the bag. Jamal shrugged. Diego shared his stories with me when I was low, least I can do. Ronaldo nodded, an idea sparking. You ever coach kids, Jamal? The vendor laughed. Me? Nah, I just sling tacos, but I know the streets. Kids listen to me. Ronaldo filed that away. Jamal could be useful. The doctor's visit was at a private clinic, booked discreetly to avoid paparazzi. Ronaldo sat in the waiting room, scrolling through emails from his team. Junior had already found a temporary apartment for Diego, a modest place near Miami's Little Havana. The doctor, a kind-eyed woman named Dr. Lopez, emerged after an hour. He's malnourished, dehydrated, some arthritis, she said, but no major organ damage. With rest, food, and therapy, he can recover well. Ronaldo exhaled, relief washing over him. What about his mind? He's been through a lot. Dr. Lopez nodded. He'll need counseling. Trauma like that doesn't vanish overnight. Ronaldo thanked her, his mind already racing to the next step. Back in the exam room, Diego sat on the table, looking smaller than ever. They say I'm not dying, he joked weakly. Ronaldo forced a smile. You're tougher than that, coach. As they left, Ronaldo noticed Diego's steps were steadier, his shoulders less hunched. Progress, small but real. Outside, Miami buzzed with life. Street musicians, food trucks, kids on skateboards. Ronaldo drove Diego to the new apartment, a cozy one-bedroom with a view of a palm-lined street. Diego froze in the doorway, clutching his backpack. This is mine? He asked, voice barely above a whisper. Ronaldo nodded. For now. We'll get you settled permanent soon. Diego's eyes roamed the room, the clean couch, the stocked fridge, the framed photo of a soccer field on the wall. He sank into a chair, hands trembling. I don't know how to thank you, he said. Ronaldo crouched beside him. Just keep going, coach. That's enough. But Ronaldo's mind was already elsewhere. He wanted more for Diego, a purpose, not just a roof. He thought of the community center idea, a place where Diego could coach again, where kids could learn from someone who'd seen the best and worst of life. He texted Junior, find me a property, something we can turn into a soccer hub, fast. That afternoon, Ronaldo took Diego to a local diner, a hole in the wall with checkered floors and greasy burgers. They sat in a corner booth, away from prying eyes. Diego ate slowly, savoring every bite. You remember that time you made me run sprints in the rain? Ronaldo asked, grinning. Diego chuckled, his first real laugh. You were lazy that day, needed a push. They traded stories, the years melting away, but Ronaldo noticed Diego's eyes drift when he mentioned Maria. You ever try to find her? Ronaldo asked gently. Diego's face clouded. She don't want me. I let her down. Ronaldo leaned in. People forgive, coach. Give her a chance. Diego shook his head, but Ronaldo wasn't giving up. He'd already asked Junior to reach out to Maria, and the PI had her number. It was a risk, but Ronaldo knew family could heal wounds, nothing else could. The next day, Junior called with news. Maria's coming, tomorrow. She's cautious, but she wants to see him. Ronaldo's heart leapt. Good. Set it up somewhere quiet. The meeting happened at a small park near the apartment, palm trees swaying in the breeze. Maria, a woman in her 40s with tired eyes and a nurse's scrubs, stood stiffly as Diego approached. Ronaldo stayed back, watching from a bench. Diego's voice shook as he spoke. Maria, I'm so sorry. She crossed her arms, tears welling. You left me, Dad. After Mom died, you just left. Diego's head bowed. I know. I was weak. The words hung heavy, but Maria's shoulders softened. She stepped closer, hesitating, then hugged him. Ronaldo looked away, giving them privacy, but his chest swelled. This was what Diego needed. Connection, not just survival. Meanwhile, Ronaldo's vision for the community center took shape. Junior found a rundown lot in Little Havana, an old gym with cracked bleachers but good bones. Ronaldo toured it, seeing potential in the dusty field. "This is it," he said. "We'll call it Coach Diego's Academy." Junior scribbled notes. "You're serious about this, huh?" Ronaldo's eyes burned with purpose. "Dead serious." He brought Jamal on board, offering him a role as a community liaison. Jamal's street smarts and big heart were perfect for reaching kids who didn't trust easily. "You're crazy, man," Jamal said, but his grin said he was in. Ronaldo also called an old teammate, Luis, a retired striker living in Miami. "I need you to coach," Ronaldo told him. "For Diego, for the kids." Luis didn't hesitate. "For you and Diego? I'm there." But trouble brewed. A local reporter, sniffing out a story, had spotted Ronaldo with Diego at the diner. Photos leaked online, headlines screaming, "Ronaldo saves homeless man." The attention made Ronaldo's skin crawl. This wasn't about fame, it was personal. At the apartment, he found Diego staring at a gossip site on the new phone Ronaldo had given him. "They're calling me a charity case," Diego muttered, his voice bitter. Ronaldo snatched the phone away. "Ignore it. They don't know you. They don't know us." But the damage was done. Diego's pride, fragile as it was, took a hit. Ronaldo stormed out, calling his PR team. "Shut this down," he snapped. "No interviews, no cameras. This is about Diego, not me." Back at the apartment, he sat with Diego, who looked defeated. "I don't want to be your project, Cristiano," Diego said. Ronaldo's voice was steel. "You're not a project, you're family." He paused, then softened. "And we're building something together. You're gonna coach again. You're gonna matter again." Diego's eyes met his, searching for truth. Then he nodded, a spark reigniting. That night, Ronaldo met with Jamal and Luis at the diner, sketching plans for the academy on a napkin. "We need soccer, but more," Ronaldo said. "Life skills, mentors, a place kids feel safe." Jamal nodded. "I know kids who'd come. They just need someone to believe in them." Luis chimed in. "Like Diego believed in you." Ronaldo smiled, but his mind was on Maria's reunion with Diego. If they could rebuild that bond, maybe Diego could rebuild himself. The next day, Maria visited again, bringing a photo of her mom to show Diego. They talked for hours, tears mixing with laughter. Ronaldo watched from afar, his heart full but heavy. He knew this was just the start. Diego needed purpose, not just forgiveness, and Ronaldo was determined to give it to him. The academy wasn't just a dream now, it was a promise. As the sun set over Miami, painting the sky pink, Ronaldo stood outside the apartment, phone in hand, texting his team. "Get the contractors, we break ground next week." Diego was coming back to life, and Ronaldo was building a legacy to make sure no one like him was ever forgotten again. The sun beat down on Little Havana, the air thick with the scent of grilled arepas and the distant thump of salsa music. The old gym lot, once a tangle of weeds and broken concrete, was unrecognizable. Freshly painted goalposts gleamed white against a lush green field, and new bleachers lined the sidelines, their metal frames catching the light. A crowd gathered, kids in mismatched sneakers, parents fanning themselves with folded flyers, local vendors setting up food stalls. Today was the grand opening of Coach Diego's academy, a dream Ronaldo had poured his heart and millions into. He stood at the edge of the field, his crisp white shirt rolled up at the sleeves, watching the chaos with a quiet pride. Diego was at the center of it all, clipboard in hand, whistle around his neck, looking like the coach Ronaldo remembered from his childhood. His hair was neatly trimmed, his eyes bright with purpose. Maria stood nearby, her nurse's scrubs swapped for a bright yellow dress, a smile breaking through her usual guarded expression. Jamal darted through the crowd, high-fiving kids and handing out water bottles, his energy infectious. Luis, the retired striker, was setting up cones for a drill, joking with a group of teens who hung on his every word. This wasn't just a soccer field, it was a second chance, not just for Diego, but for every kid who'd ever felt invisible. Ronaldo's chest swelled, but he stayed back, letting Diego shine. This was his day. The ceremony began with a local band playing a lively merengue, drawing cheers from the crowd. A banner stretched across the field, bold letters proclaiming, "Coach Diego's Academy, where dreams find a home." Ronaldo had insisted on keeping it simple. No glitz, no celebrity cameos. He'd turned down TV crews begging for exclusives, ignored calls from brands wanting to slap their logos on the field. This wasn't about him. It was about Diego, about the kids, about the community that had raised him. A local pastor kicked things off with a blessing, his voice booming over a megaphone. "This is a place of hope," he said, "built by a man who never forgot where he came from." The crowd clapped, eyes turning to Ronaldo, but he waved it off, pointing to Diego. The old coach stepped forward, nervous but steady, and took the mic. "I don't have much to say," Diego began, his voice rough but clear. "A year ago I was nobody, sleeping on the street, forgotten. Then someone saw me." He glanced at Ronaldo, his eyes glistening. "He didn't just give me a hand, he gave me a life. This place, it's for you kids. To know you're seen, you're worth something." The crowd erupted, kids chanting Diego's name. Ronaldo stood still, his throat tight. He'd scored goals in front of millions, but this roar for Diego felt bigger. The ribbon cutting was simple. Diego, Maria, and Ronaldo together, scissors slicing through red satin. Kids swarmed the field, kicking balls, chasing each other, their laughter echoing. Ronaldo watched Diego take charge, barking orders like the old days. "Keep your eyes up, mijo," Diego called to a skinny boy fumbling a pass. The kid grinned, trying again. Maria joined in, organizing a group of younger kids for a relay race. Jamal, ever the showman, led a cheer squad, teaching them a chant. "Diego's crew, we come through." Luis ran drills with the older teens, his voice sharp but kind. Ronaldo stayed on the sidelines, soaking it in. He'd paid for every inch of this place, the turf, the lights, the lockers, but seeing it alive, seeing Diego alive, made it worth every cent. A girl, maybe 10, ran up to him, her braid bouncing. "You're Ronaldo, right? Is it true you learned from Coach Diego?" He knelt down, smiling. "Every kick I make, I owe to him." Her eyes widened. "He's like a superhero." Ronaldo laughed. "Yeah, kid, he kinda is." But the day wasn't without hiccups. A reporter, the same one who'd leaked the diner photos, lingered at the edge of the crowd, snapping pictures. Ronaldo's jaw tightened. He'd warned his team to keep media out, but this guy was relentless. Before Ronaldo could move, Jamal was there, stepping in front of the reporter. "This ain't your story, man," Jamal said, his voice low but firm. "Let these kids have their day." The reporter backed off, grumbling, and Ronaldo shot Jamal a nod of thanks. The last thing Diego needed was more headlines twisting his comeback into a spectacle. Ronaldo's phone buzzed, Junior checking in from Portugal, where he was handling Ronaldo's other projects. "Heard it's a hit," Junior texted. "Proud of you, Chris." Ronaldo typed back, "It's not me. It's Diego. He meant it. This wasn't a PR win. It was personal, a debt repaid." As the sun dipped low, painting the sky orange, a surprise unfolded. Maria had worked with a local artist to create a mural on the gym's outer wall. The crowd gathered as she unveiled it, pulling a tarp to reveal a vibrant scene. Diego, younger, whistle in hand, coaching a kid who looked suspiciously like a young Ronaldo, ball at his feet. Below, in bold letters, "Believe in someone, change a life." The crowd gasped, then cheered. Diego froze, his hand covering his mouth. Maria hugged him, whispering something that made him nod, tears streaming. Ronaldo stood back, his own eyes stinging. He hadn't known about the mural, Maria's idea, kept secret until now. A boy tugged at Ronaldo's sleeve. "Did you really grow up like us?" he asked. Ronaldo nodded. "Same streets, same dreams. You keep working, you'll go further than me." The boy's face lit up, and he ran back to the field, kicking harder than before. Diego found Ronaldo later, as the crowd thinned and the field quieted. They sat on the bleachers, the air cooling, crickets starting their evening hum. "I don't know how to repay you," Diego said, his voice low. Ronaldo shook his head. "You already did, coach. Every trophy I've got has your name on it." Diego looked out at the field, where a few kids still played under the floodlights. "I thought my life was over," he said. "Then you showed up." Ronaldo leaned back, his voice soft. "You showed up for me first." They sat in silence, the kind that didn't need words. Maria joined them, sitting beside Diego, her hand on his arm. Jamal and Luis wandered over, beers in hand, joking about the kids' wild energy. "These kids are gonna run us ragged," Luis said, laughing. Jamal grinned. "Good. Keeps us young." The group felt like family, bound by something deeper than blood. The academy's impact grew fast. Within weeks, it was more than a soccer hub. Maria started counseling sessions for parents, teaching them how to support their kids' dreams. Jamal organized street fairs to raise funds, his taco cart a staple at every event. Luis recruited more retired players, turning the academy into a magnet for talent scouts. Kids who'd never touched a real soccer ball now had cleats, uniforms, and a coach who saw them as more than statistics. Diego was at the heart of it, coaching every morning, his voice stronger each day. He'd started writing again, jotting stories in a notebook Ronaldo gave him, tales of the streets, of redemption, of soccer's power to save. Ronaldo read a few pages one evening, sitting in Diego's small apartment. "You should publish this," he said. Diego laughed. "Who'd read an old man's ramblings?" Ronaldo's eyes were serious. "Everyone. It's real." One afternoon, a letter arrived from a school in nearby Hialeah. They wanted to name their new soccer field after Diego, a tribute to his story. Ronaldo drove him to the ceremony, a small event with kids, teachers, and a marching band. Diego, in a new blazer Ronaldo had picked out, looked nervous but proud. The principal read a speech. "This is the Diego Fernandez Field, for a man who teaches us it's never too late to rise." Kids rushed Diego, asking for tips, selfies, stories. He handled it with grace, his old coaching swagger back. Ronaldo watched, leaning against the fence, his heart full. "You did this, Chris," Maria said, appearing beside him. He shook his head. "He did it. I just gave him a shot." Maria smiled. "You gave him more than that. You gave him us." She meant herself, their family, now healing. Ronaldo nodded, his eyes on Diego, who was showing a kid how to curve a ball. Back at the academy, Diego's notebook became a book. Ronaldo quietly funded a small publisher, insisting Diego's voice stay untouched, raw, honest, human. The Field That Found Me launched at the academy, with kids reading passages aloud to a packed gym. Diego spoke briefly, his voice steady. "I was lost. Someone found me. Now I'm here to find you." The applause shook the rafters. Ronaldo stayed in the back, clapping, his face half hidden by a cap. He didn't need the spotlight. Diego's smile was enough. The book spread, schools using it to teach empathy, libraries stocking it in low-income neighborhoods. Ronaldo saw the ripple effect, kids inspired, parents engaged, a community knitting itself tighter. One evening, as the field emptied, Ronaldo and Diego sat on the bleachers, a cool breeze cutting through the Miami heat. A single floodlight buzzed above, casting long shadows. Ronaldo pulled out a small box, handing it to Diego. Inside was a medal engraved, "For changing lives, one kick at a time." "No FIFA logo," Ronaldo said, grinning. "Just mine." Diego's hands shook as he held it. "You're still that kid," he said, voice thick. "Always giving it your all." Ronaldo laughed, but his eyes were wet. "You taught me that, coach." They sat there, watching the empty field, the mural glowing faintly in the dusk. The academy was more than a place now. It was a promise, a legacy. Kids would grow up here, chase dreams here, know they were seen here. Diego had his life back, his daughter back, his purpose back. And Ronaldo? He'd found something money couldn't buy, the peace of knowing he'd honored the man who'd made him. As they stood to leave, a kid ran up, ball under his arm. "Coach Diego, you coming tomorrow?" Diego ruffled his hair. "Every day, mijo." The kid grinned, then looked at Ronaldo. "You're his best player, huh?" Ronaldo smiled, glancing at Diego. "Always will be." The kid ran off, his laughter fading into the night. Ronaldo and Diego walked to the parking lot, the city alive around them. Miami's lights twinkled, but the real glow was in Diego's eyes, in the field behind them, in the future they'd built together. Ronaldo didn't need another trophy. This, Diego, the kids, the academy, was his greatest win.